Good morning. Thank you all for joining us today. With me this morning are a number of business leaders from around Colorado, people who work in economic development from both the public and the private sector, officials from academia and the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. On Saturday, we will be embarking on an economic development mission to Japan and China. As you know, the national and international economies are somewhat in turmoil. Fortunately, Colorado remains somewhat buffered from these economic headwinds. We're feeling some pain, and we expect to feel more in the months ahead. These headwinds are just too strong, and we know that we're not completely immune from what's happening around us and the rest of the country, which means that we have to be extremely aggressive in our business and economic development efforts. We have to be aggressive on how we market and promote Colorado. We do not believe that this is the time to pull back. Instead, we think it's time for us to forge ahead, really to reestablish ourselves as a leader. We have to make sure that what we're creating in Colorado are new possibilities and new opportunities, so that when the economy does turn around, Colorado is leading the way. We have to be aggressive about retaining existing jobs and about recruiting for new ones. Colorado isn't just competing with other states. We're in a global economy. We understand the workforce in Colorado is competing with other international economies and with other countries. Frankly, we think the trip is extremely well timed. The mission has a few very specific goals. First, we're going to make a strong case for opening a direct flight from Denver International Airport to Tokyo. Second, we're going to showcase Colorado's new energy economy, partly by letting Asian companies know their European competitors are already here, including Denmark-based Vestas, German-based Siemens, and Spanish-based Abengoa and Iberdrola. Third, we're going to demonstrate the tremendous investment opportunities in Colorado's bioscience sector. Finally, we'll be promoting Colorado's software and technology industries. We have one of the highest concentration of tech workers in all of America, and the growth and investment opportunities in this state, in that sector, are still incredible. Colorado has a lot going for it. We have a lot of strengths, and this mission will really play what we believe are our strengths in building 21st century economies. We have some of the best human and intellectual capital in the world. We have the third best educated workforce in the country, if you think of it state by state by state. We have a research corridor along the Front Range that is one of the best in the world, including the Fitzsimmons campus and research universities like CU, CSU, and the Colorado School of Mines. And we have that research corridor that includes those three schools and the National Renewable Energy Laboratory that really is next to none in terms of research and development around renewable energy and alternative fuels. The mission is a great opportunity for us in Colorado to realize a tremendous return on our economic development investments. It's my pleasure to introduce some of the people joining us on the trip. Don Elliman, our Director of the Governor's Office of Economic Development and International Trade. Joe Blake, the President and CEO of the Metro Denver Chamber of Commerce. Tom Clark is the Executive Vice President of the Metro Denver Economic Development Corporation. Casey Porto is the Senior Vice President for Commercialization at the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. Casey. Dr. Lance Perryman, Dean of the College of Veterinary Medicine and Biomedical Sciences at Colorado State University. Like I said, those are just some of the individuals who will be joining us. There's a full list of other people that are going to be on the trip. With that, I'm going to ask Don Elliman to talk a little bit as well about the trip that we're planning. Thomas?
I don't have a lot to add to what the governor had to say. I've been in the marketing business, I think, my whole professional life. And the one thing I learned a long time ago, having been through similar or somewhat similar economic times, is that when times are tough, you don't stop selling. In fact, I think in reality, the most important time to press your message home when you have a competitive advantage is when times are difficult. Clearly they are. We have a very competitive message in the tourism business. We have a heck of a story, as Tom Clark is going to tell you later, in support of nonstop air service to the Far East, which is critically important to the long-term economic health of the state. We have an unbelievable story in the energy sector, primarily as it relates to renewables. As the governor said, we think we are the world leader, world's leading research center for wind and solar, and we have a heck of a story to tell in bioscience. So we think this is a very good time to go out and make that case. We look forward to a receptive audience, and I think ultimately we look forward to a significant return on the time that we are investing in this journey. So with that, I'll turn it over to Joe Blake, who's the head of the Metro Denver Chamber.
Thank you, Don, and thank you, Governor, for taking the lead in making this opportunity come about. There are two messages here that I would like to emphasize. One is the long view, and the second is acting in concert. The long view is this. Our relationships in Japan and China really need to be based on long-term personal relationships. And it is important when you put together where Colorado's exports are and where they can go from here. Currently, our #1 export is to Mexico, then Canada, now China, and Japan is fourth. If you look at the leading economies in the world today, within the last 10 or 12 weeks, China has now supplanted Japan as the #2 economy in the world. The United States, China, Japan. And so the targeted message that we are taking is to take advantage of those economies, to build on the export opportunities, and to move forward. The second message is about acting in concert. This is not a sole mission going out at this point. This is actually will be the fourth mission that will have been going out to those two countries in the last 13 months. Don Elliman talked about his background in marketing and understanding when and where to begin a consistent marketing opportunity, a sales opportunity. And that effort started last October when Don and others led the Denver Convention and Visitors Bureau to Japan to have the opportunity to begin redirecting some of Colorado's marketing dollars to attract that audience from Japan to come here. 2 more trade missions have gone out in the meantime. With the mayor, Tom Clark has been part of those meetings, again, to develop the economic opportunities, particularly along the airline opportunities ahead of us. And so this is the fourth time, and we are fortunate. Colorado is fortunate that the governor is taking the time, has marshaled the resources to make this happen. When you look at the agenda, you'll see what I mean when I say acting in concert. Because here we have an economic trade mission moving forward, but it's integrated with new energy opportunities, the meetings that will go on with Casey and her group from the National Renewable Energy Lab here, the opportunities for bioscience. You'll hear in a moment from Dr. Perryman, the Dean of the Veterinary School at Colorado State University. I'm a member of the CSU board. I'm absolutely excited to be a part of the MOU signing when we are in Japan to bring forward those opportunities ahead. So acting in concert, this has been extraordinarily well thought out, and the opportunities lie ahead. Tom is going to talk a bit more now about the opportunities for nonstop service and the work that he has been doing to make that happen. Tom Clark.
Thank you, Joe. The name of this program is called Ascent to Asia, and it started, as Joe said, with Don Elliman bringing together the Convention Visitors Bureau, the Colorado Tourism Board, to stimulate Japanese interest in Colorado as a tourist destination. Our long-term goal, obviously, is non-stop service from Tokyo to Denver. We start up by filling up the back of the plane. If you go on the Ginza today, for the first time in about 20 years, you'll actually see Colorado tourism information on the Ginza in the travel shops. It didn't exist there 2 years ago. We were an unknown commodity. You begin to fill up the back of the airplane and demonstrate to airlines that there is a market in Colorado, and the economic development side of the agenda drives the front of the plane, and that's